And good afternoon again. Today marks a significant milestone in our investigation into the September 3rd, 2025 residential structure fire at 209 Williams Street that injured two of our firefighters, Lieutenant Troy Gallagher and firefighter Caleb Alverson. I'm pleased to announce that we've made an arrest in this case, which has been determined to be arson. This development brings us one step closer to justice for our injured firefighters and the community affected by this deliberate act. The safety of our firefighters and our residents is our highest priority, and we take crimes that endanger both with the utmost seriousness. I want to commend the exceptional work and professionalism demonstrated by our fire investigators in this very complex case. Their tireless dedication, meticulous attention to detail, and unwavering commitment to uncovering the truth have been exemplary. This investigation required countless hours of evidence collection, analysis, and collaboration with our law enforcement partners, and our team executed every aspect with its highest level of expertise and integrity. Their work exemplifies the Fort Worth Fire Department's commitment to protecting our community and holding those who threaten public safety accountable. I am proud to serve along such dedicated professionals. And with that, I will introduce Captain Wayne May of our Fire Investigation Arson Division.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you all for being here this afternoon. My name is Wayne May. I'm the arson captain over the arson unit here in Fort Worth. As Chief Hill mentioned, on September 3rd, 2025, the fire department responded to a residential fire at 209 Williams Street. During the fire suppression, two firefighters were injured, one being airlifted to Parkland due to the significance of his injuries. He underwent multiple surgeries, was recently released from the hospital, and continues treatment and recovery. Immediately, the Fort Worth arson investigators responded and began an in-depth investigation. The fire was determined to be incendiary, intentionally set, meeting the elements of arson of habitation. Investigators conducted, as Chief Hill said, extensive work, including meticulously reviewing video footage, interviews with witnesses, gathering of other key evidence. These efforts led to an identification of a suspect. I'm proud to announce on October 29th, 2025, the Fort Worth Arson Bomb Unit obtained a probable cause arrest warrant for a suspect. That same evening, the suspect was arrested without incident by the arson unit with assistance from the Fort Worth Police Department. The suspect was then booked into the Fort Worth City Jail for arson of a habitation, and the charges include bodily injury to the two firefighters. This case will be filed with the Tarrant-County District Attorney's Office for prosecution. The Fort Worth Fire Department is extremely proud of the dedication, persistence, and exceptional work of our investigators. Their efforts led to the arrest of an individual responsible for this fire that could have taken lives. We're thankful our injured firefighters are recovering and that justice is being pursued. The arson unit specifically would like to extend a sincere gratitude to the ATF, particularly Special Agent Kevin Mack, Special Agent Matt Gilbert, Special Agent Steve Brenneman, and Resident Agent in Charge Tom Keene, as well as the Fort Worth Police Department, particularly the Central Unit, the HOPE Team, and the Electronic Surveillance Unit. Without all of those entities, this case could not have been solved. Our suspect name is Shawndrieka Thomas. She's a 34-year-old female. The charges include arson of a habitation. I will now entertain any questions.
Talk again about that evidence and maybe a motive of what led to this arson?
We don't know a motive particularly. We tried to interview this person. She did not want to talk to us. And as far as evidence, so we scoured through hours of video evidence as well as evidence which included witness statements and some other evidence that I'm not at liberty to say right now.
Are you able to, you can't talk about, was it, what did she use to start the fire?
Every indication that we got that she used an open flame device, such as a cigarette lighter, just to set common combustibles on fire.
So you can't say what the video showed, did it show her around the house or going inside?
Yes, the particular video showed this individual or suspect in and around the house at the time of the fire.
What's her relationship to the property?
She has no relationship to the property.
You mentioned the Hope team is involved. Is this the suspect on the house?
Yes, the person is what we would consider homeless. She was staying at the women's shelter.
Any prior history of arson with her?
There's not any criminal history of arson.
And this is for whoever, but whenever we talk about something where, this could have been, someone could have died, and now we're learning that someone may have done this intentionally. Like, what is that? How frustrating is that? Can anyone speak to just the level, someone could have died in this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we here in Fort Worth take all of our offenses, so we're particularly keen in on arson. That's our specialty. So all of our investigators work hard and diligent on ensuring that anyone who sets a fire here in Fort Worth, that they're prosecuted.
Were you able to talk about the investigative process of how you were able to identify this person? Because if she didn't have a known connection to that house, that had to have been relatively difficult to pinpoint a name.
Yes, absolutely. So again, I think video was key in this particular offense. And we're thankful for the citizens of Fort Worth who allowed us to review that. So the citizens willingly assisted, as well as all those other entities that assisted.
Update on the conditions of your firefighters?
Yes, so Caleb Halverson, Lieutenant Hayes and I went and visited him this morning. We wanted to let him know the update of the case, and he is at home, resting well, still in quite a bit of pain, and he continues to visit the doctor on a pretty regular basis.
And what's the potential consequence of this charge?
So arson of a habitation like this is a felony 1, which the maximum sentence would be 99 years.
Any thoughts from the chief, if you want to come up and talk about the significance of this?
Well, we have always taken arson investigations very seriously in the city of Fort Worth. We have a policy, and we've had one for years, that requires that every fire in the city gets investigated by one of our trained fire investigators. So I'm very pleased with the result, but because of the professionalism of the men and women that train in countless hours and prepare to make sure that they're doing their job to the highest standard possible, I'm not surprised at the result. We make sure that our arson investigators, that they receive the best training in the country, and they will continue to produce results like this. So hopefully this can be a mitigating factor for anyone in the city who is intentionally trying to set fires.
Is there any additional message you just want to put out there to people? Arson, it's not exactly a common crime. I mean, it's not uncommon. It's not something that, I think we see every day. But, you had 2 firefighters who were injured, and one of them had a young child in the NICU at the time, and this could have been significantly worse, or as bad as it was. Any just thoughts on that?
Well, arson is, unfortunately, we have quite a few, probably about in the neighborhood, and Captain May, you can correct me if I'm wrong, we typically have around 100, 120 arsons per year. And fortunately, in the city of Fort Worth, we have a separate division that is all that they do. They respond to arson fires, and it's followed up by someone who's a trained detective, and we have a very good clearance rate. So I would put our arson investigation section up against any unit in the country. I believe they're that good.
When you look at the damage to that home and, what your firefighters, what could have happened, is I don't know, do you let your mind go that far as to how bad it could have been, and how thankful are you that,
Absolutely. We always, is public safety professionals, as firefighters, as fire chiefs, we always train for the worst case scenario. So every major accident, every significant incident like this has an after action report and is thoroughly investigated, and we interview everyone who was involved with that incident, including our arson investigators, and we come up with an after action plan, and we try to take lessons learned from that, and we incorporate that into our further investigative process and in our training.
What does that look like in this case? The after-action plan?
We'll bring together our group, everyone who was involved in this incident, from the firefighters who responded, to our firefighters who were injured, to the chief officers who commanded the fire, and anyone else who responded to the fire. We will interview them, and we'll pull information from our CAD and our fire alarm dispatch, and we'll carefully piece together the incident and kind of determine what happened and what we did right, as well as look at areas that we can improve.
And when is that typically completed after an incident?
Well, we try to, with a significant incident like this, we try to take our time. So typically, 4 to 6 weeks is a typical time frame for an after-action incident, after-action report for a significant incident like this one.
So are you guys on time in terms of getting that after-action report on that 4 to 6 week time frame, or just want to take a little longer?
It's probably, since we had serious firefighter injury, it's probably going to take a little longer. In addition, we have the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health. They're coming down to investigate the incident as well, to put a second set of eyes, just so we can, gather some of the lessons learned and try to prevent this from happening again. So as well as our internal investigation, we'll have an external investigation from a government agency, and we'll look at both reports, and we'll share those findings with the public.
How typical is that?
Ma'am?
How typical is that for, I think, NIOSH? Is that how they-
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I should have just, not very, I can't recall any time recently that we've called NIOSH in. But fortunately, our local labor association, in conjunction with Chief Davis, they decided that it was best for NIOSH to come in, and not only will we do an internal investigation, but we'll have another investigation performed by subject matter experts.
And just, coming into this role, looking at that incident, does it seem like you guys did everything right? Anything that you can think of as you're stepping into this role and looking back, just off the top?
Off the top, we would have to gather all of the information, like I said, through interviews, through radio traffic, through CAD dispatch. So there are a lot of different pieces that we have to put together. We never want to speculate as to what happened and why it happened. We want to make sure that we're making our judgments based on the facts.
How do firefighters typically approach a building to assess, its structural integrity and whether it's safe to enter?
Well, part of our training academy, we have several continuing education modules where we teach building construction. So there's a scientific approach where all of our company officers and our chief officers, they're given an opportunity. They pretty much know building construction, and they know how buildings deteriorate under fire conditions. So they're able to make their judgments based on their training and their experience.
Just one brief question. Anytime a firefighter is seriously injured, there are people in the community that want to give back sometimes. Is there anywhere that you're pointing people if they do want to get involved or give back to the firefighters locally?
Let me see if Craig can answer that one.
So we've got links on our social media pages back to some of the things that our local association has set up. There's been a lot of those questions asked, and there's been a lot of people that have helped throughout this process of different donations and things like that. The one official one that we've put out, you can find on our social media page, just to make sure that, anytime we have an event like this, there's a lot of folks that come in and they're not necessarily wanting to do good by the person that was hurt, or where, there's a lot of scams going out there. So On our social media, there will be a link provided, is the one that we've kind of endorsed and partnered with to make sure that that's going directly to the family. But there's been a lot of just outpouring of prayers and ways to help, and we want to make sure that all those people that have done that know that the family's very grateful. We as the fire department are very grateful, and that's really going a long way for those family members and for Caleb himself, just to kind of feel that love and part of his healing process.